Hello, I'm back. My name is Dr. Allison Parker, and thank you so much for clicking on my video. In today's video, I would like to discuss 5 reasons why your child is not reading on grade level. What grade am I talking about? I'm talking about kindergarten. I have taught kindergarten, and what a wonderful and magical year. So much growth happens in this year. But children who are not reading on grade level lack the following skills. Here we go. Let's get into it. Number one, children in kindergarten that are not reading on grade level lack the knowledge of letters and sounds. Of course, if you don't know your letters and your sounds, you can't put them together to become a reader. Now, what am I talking about? We have 26 letters in the alphabet, but we have 44 phonemes or sounds. In kindergarten, we're expecting the bare minimum for kids to know their 26 letters of the alphabet plus their sounds. And when kids don't know the sounds, for example, kid is shown the letter T and the kid says L. The kid sees the letter M and the kid says N. Or the kid sees the letter C and says S. Or the kid can recognize the letter names, but the kid doesn't recognize the sounds. So here's an example of what I mean. So when we say to a kid, tell me the letter that makes the B sound, kid says P, kid says D, or something else. So kids have to identify the letters, the letter names, as well as their sounds. And kids in kindergarten who confuse their letters and sounds, they just are not on grade level because this is foundational and they must know this to become readers. What's another hint or clue or reason why kids are not reading on grade level in kindergarten? The next one is these children have what we call a poor vocabulary. They have a poor listening vocabulary. And so children who are read to don't quite understand what they're hearing. And let's say you're reading a story to them and you say, what does such and such mean? And the kid doesn't understand. Or kid is speaking in low level language, very simple sentences. I go, we go, I want simple sentences. This is a kid who hasn't yet grasped or understands more complex sentences. So, for example, this is a kid that speaks in just a few sentences, very basic. And we want kids to read and write and speak at a high level. Kids who lack vocabulary skills won't be able to tackle reading on grade level because they just don't have a rich and robust vocabulary. What is another feature that we notice in kids who are struggling at the kindergarten level? They're not fluent readers. They're not fluent readers. So fluent readers can read a passage, let's say 100 words, and get most of those words right. But kids in kindergarten don't know enough words, particularly sight words. Sight words stump these children. So when they see the word what, they say went. When they see where, they say then, or these, or there. They see the word said, and they are trying to blend letters together. Said, said, said. is not a word. So these are children who just don't know enough sight words. You need to have a robust level of sight words in your mind and to be able to easily and quickly read these words when shown. So if I show 10 words to a kid, if we look at this board here, to is a sight word, your is a sight word. Some kids naturally know these words because they've had plenty of lap time with mom, but some kids don't know these words because they're not read to, and they don't read enough. And so there's this gap in sight words. What else do we notice about kindergarten kids who are not reading on grade level? Well, one thing we also notice is you show them a little page in a leveled book, let's say a basic kindergarten level A book or a level B book or a level C book. And they basically look at the pictures and they make up a story. They make up their own story. They lack one to one correspondence. In other words, one word on that paper represents the one word coming out of my mouth. So the spoken word matches the written word. That's one to one correspondence. They understand that for every word on paper, a word needs to come out of my mouth. So if the sentence is, my mom will take me home, basic sentence, my mom will take me home. That's a 6-word sentence. Children who struggle may struggle with my. They might not know the sound of that Y. They may say, yeah, yeah. And they may be thinking, what is that? They don't know enough sight words. My, mom. Most kids know the word mom. Will, kid is blending, trying to figure it out, but there are too many gaps, so kid needs support. My mom will take. They don't know what to do with that little E at the end of the word, that little silent E. My mom will take me. Kid might pronounce me, eh. Maybe the kid knows their letters and sounds, eh. Kid doesn't know that the word me is irregular. What does irregular mean? The vowels break the phonics rules. And some kids have learned this, and some teachers haven't gotten to it. The curriculum didn't get to that word, or the teacher skipped over it, or your kid was absent, or the kid doesn't see it in books at home because maybe you're not reading to your kid on a consistent basis. And so some kids haven't figured out how to read these tricky words called sight words. They just don't know enough sight words. So we expect kindergarten kids to know at least 50 sight words. When I taught kindergarten, I was hoping for a minimum of 50. 75 would be ideal. But what would be phenomenal? 100 words. If your kid could read 100 of these, 200, 220, 300 irregular words, they would be far more fluent and accurate readers. So another reason why kids are not reading on grade level, they have poor what we call phonemic awareness. Phonemic awareness. What is phonemic awareness? Phonemic awareness is the ability to manipulate sounds in words. So if I say to a child, let's try one out together. If I say to a child, here's the word bat, pat, rat, they rhyme. These words rhyme. And then I say to the kid, do these two words rhyme? Pet, pot. The kid goes, yeah, they rhyme. You do this consistently and realize the kid can't differentiate the sounds of those vowels. Pet and pot don't rhyme. They don't rhyme because they don't have the same middle and ending sounds. So some children struggle with rhyming words. I've met kindergarten through third graders who have not mastered this basic concept. Another example of phonemic awareness is they struggle with what we call substituting sounds. So I'll give you an example. Say pet. Good. Say pet again, but change eh to ah. Kid is trying to process this information mentally in their brain. Say pet. They might say, "Can you say that again?" Say pet. Kid says pet. Say pet, but change eh to ah. I would mouth with a circle because the kid would figure out that it's oh. But we would expect the kid to say pot. Many children cannot substitute one phoneme or one sound for another mentally. Phonemic awareness is all auditory. They don't have access, they don't see anything visually. It's just auditory processing. Some kids' brains, the left side of their brain, struggles with this. This is a sign of dyslexia, by the way. Kids whose the left side of the brain that focuses on language and literacy is weak, and we need to develop this side of the brain. And the third example of phonemic awareness in today's video is deleting a sound. So, can the kid recognize rhyming words? Can the kid recognize if we take out a sound and put in a sound, we substitute a sound? Can the kid figure it out mentally using their brain? Can they or can they not? Kids in kindergarten who struggle, they have great difficulty in this area. And then we have another area called phoneme deletion. Listen up. So if I say to a kid, say got, kid says got. Say got, but remove the t. Kid is supposed to say go. Right. Some kids do this with ease, ease, ease. They have that mental flexibility. They can do this with ease. It's easy for them because their brains process information well, but some of our beautiful children just don't. So if we had to recap, let's recap. Kids who struggle in kindergarten, they're struggling with letters and sounds. They just don't know all 26 letters and the sounds that they make. They have weak vocabulary. They have weak listening vocabulary. They have weak expressive vocabulary. So, weak receptive language, receiving information auditorily, and they have weak verbal or expressive language skills. Another reason why kids are struggling, low sight word knowledge. Huge problem. They also are given something to read and they look at the pictures and they make up their own story. They have no one-to-one correspondence that the word coming out matches the word on the paper, and we read one word at a time, and that there's a connection between the two. The one word spoken matches the one word written. They have no one-to-one correspondence. And then finally, they have poor phonemic awareness skills. They struggle with the skill of rhyming words. They struggle with the skill of substituting out a vowel sound for another vowel sound. And they also struggle with deleting a sound. It could be a vowel sound or a consonant, like in the example that I gave you. In the next video, I will provide for you what we can do to help the kindergarten student close the reading achievement gap. Ciao for now. Subscribe, like the video, and please share with another mother that you know has a child who is struggling. Thank you.